Salutations, nerds! We're watching the MCU and all of its glory!
Welcome back to our series we are calling Phased Out, the series that is designed to make Nick hate Jared and I we're getting to that time.
But not today.
I think we're getting to that time.
Today he hates something very different.
Someone's getting defensive soon, but let's start here now.
So we're walking through, as Jared said, we're walking through all the MCU, and we're just tired. I'm just tired. Today is a gem, a real gem. One might say a stone.
Yeah.
We started the Dark World. Now, my take on this. First of all, I just want to say that it's my headcanon now that Thor created the Reality Stone when he galvanized it when he hit the ether with his lightning. I'm just saying that is a thing in my head.
I agree.
I don't care what anyone else says. Regardless, this movie's kind of boring.
I blame the director, but I don't blame the director. I blame the director choice.
Okay, I need you to elaborate.
So, the director that did this movie was not originally supposed to do this movie. Supposed to be Patty Jenkins, and she backed out, and they went. I don't even know his
Alan
name.
Taylor.
Alan Taylor,
which looks like TV director.
But this is kind of what I like to call the TV phase of Marvel, where a lot of their directors are being pulled from TV. But this one didn't work.
So, if you refer to this as the TV phase of Marvel, what do you refer to as the phase of Marvel that creates a bunch of TV shows?
That's the money-grabbing phase of Marvel.
Okay.
The TV phase is where they're like, hey, you know what? We had a TV director on the Avengers. It worked fantastic. Let's grab a few more. What else is big right now? So they're not so much talking about this movie, but in the future they're grabbing the Russo brothers from Community. Yeah. And later on, there's a few more TV directors they pull up. I think Peyton Reed did a lot of TV early on. They moved to movies. But this is the TV era where they're grabbing, instead of these big directors who they have to pay a lot of money.
I was going to say, do you think that's because they're cheap?
Yes, that are cheap, that can still do the work, which is why we also get writers who stick with the MCU. This is our second movie with Marcus and McFeely, who did Marcus and McFeely, who did the Captain America movies. They did Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame. They also did this movie, which is easily their worst movie that they did in the MCU.
How much of this do you think is still Patty Jenkins within it?
I don't know how much she did in production with this movie. I don't even know if she did anything in production with this movie. I think Marcus McFeely had their script ready to go. They were ready to shoot, and they were going to bring Patty Jenkins in for the rest of it. So she may have had some input on the story. From what I know, they kind of just told the writers, hey, write the next Thor movie. This is what the old one looked like. You did great with Captain America. Write the next Thor movie. Go. Here's some Thor comics.
What if they were writing The Winter Soldier, and they're excited about it, and then they tell, oh, by the way, you're going to write the second Thor.
I think that's part of it.
And then it's like, but we don't want to write. Well, it's in your contract. Okay, so they just threw something together and went back to Winter Soldier.
And part of that is Marvel wanted them to do it because of their history. This is a mythical, high fantasy thing. And these guys come from the Chronicles of Narnia movies. They wrote all of those. I think 3 of them. I don't know if they did a 4th movie.
No.
They wrote all 3 of the Chronicles of Narnia movies. And that's where they pulled them from. So they think, oh, high fantasy? These are the perfect guys for it. They're Captain America fans. They're not Thor fans.
Did they not do a silver chair?
No.
Okay. That's the next one, right?
I don't know what they're doing. There's not to go on that tangent too much, but
there's a Narnia Netflix thing.
It's like every Narnia movie has had a different studio because of all the behind the scenes stuff with the estate and whatever. Like, because the first one's Disney, and then I don't remember who did casting. And then the last one I think is Paramount, and then the last one is Fox.
Yeah.
Which I guess would now be Disney. But at the time, it was like 3 different studios. They tried to get the silver chair going, didn't work. All this stuff. Then I think.
Then it was
is it Greta Gerwig is working on a TV show version? So
that might be okay.
It's a reboot of it because it's been so long. It's just
it's part of the reason Marcus McFeely latched onto the MCU so much is because it's consistent. like we know who we're working with. We're working with the same people. Whereas they've talked about it for years. Like those movies were terrible for them. They didn't know who to report to for the next one. They didn't know what they were going with. They didn't know if cast was returning, if people were leaving, what was going on, because it was a different studio every time. So like once Marvel was on there, they're like, yeah, sure, we'll take that. We love comic books growing up. Let's take that over. And so we get them for a stint.
This was another one that 5 years ago on a rewatch I had not seen.
It doesn't really inform you about anything, does it?
It is important, unfortunately, because it sets up it's the Reality Stone, right?
Yes.
Because when I got to Infinity War, because at that point it's the Collector has it. By the time you get to Infinity War, I'm like, okay, because I read the Dark World sets up the Reality Stone. Okay, that's all. And that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Because you can't even say, well, Loki's dead. No, he's not.
No.
This whole the movie, not even like a mid-credit scene, right? Is the movie shows you before it. That's like the last shot. So,
this movie's bad.
It's frustrating too.
But there's so many good parts to the movie.
It looks beautiful compared to like the step in technology and the way it looks deserves a better movie than what it has.
Yeah, like the stark difference of the gloomy England to the beauty of Asgard, and then watching Asgard be attacked by these ships. Like, it looks great. I think the designs of the Dark Elves look amazing. They look real stupid in the comics. They are blue skin, long white hair down to their feet, and they're very mustache twirly guys. They're Loki but blue, basically. They're tricksters.
So they're like the Frost Giant.
Kind of, yeah. But they are kind of sinister in this movie until they start doing things.
To be fair, and not to jump, Christopher Eccleston is Malekith. When they actually use him in that one scene with Frigga, he is intimidating as frick.
Yeah.
But that's it that we get out of him, because the rest of it is just fighting, so it's probably a body double, or he's just under all that makeup staring at something.
And then all of the army guys' masks look like him. So, yeah, I don't know. The execution of them was terrible, even though the design was amazing. We also get the Warriors 3 actually doing things in this movie.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
This is the one where...
Zachary Levi?
Yeah.
Replaced.
Takes over for Fendral.
Yeah.
I prefer Joshua Dallas.
Yeah, it's so... The character is so inconsequential to the whole thing. It doesn't really matter, but I agree with you. And even as a person who loved Zachary Levi at the time...
I just don't like Zachary Levi as much.
He just plays himself in everything.
Yeah.
And it's hard not to just see Zachary Levi.
That's not true. He's Zachary Levi with an accent in this.
And a mustache.
Yeah.
Mustache.
Yeah. But the rest of the Warriors 3 and Lady Sif, I like that we get little hints towards her and Loki having a history, which I don't know if you guys watch the TV show stuff, but they dated for a while. He ruined things because he's Loki. So yeah, a little back and forth there.
There's a whole tangent we'll get to.
Yeah.
Part of
but
this.
I love that they actually get to do things.
Jared really feels for Lady Sif.
So this is a big thing. Remember how I said in the last Thor one how I think the better story is like 90% on Earth, and then throughout the movie you get flashbacks. We don't spend much time on Asgard, and then this movie you're mostly on Asgard, which we are.
Yes.
But I feel like that because it's again, we talk about how sometimes the cliches are just the way to go. It's the flip side of that one's on Earth, fish out of water. Now Jane's coming here.
Yep.
As cliche as it is and tropey as it is, it works.
Yeah.
And the whole it feels like the whole point of the movie is supposed to be Thor is looking to become king. He's not feeling ready. Whereas the last movie, he was ready, and it ends with him saying, "I'm not ready." This one, he's having doubts. Jane gets the ether put inside her, so they have this problem. At the same time, he's feeling the things are moving forward with Sif because he didn't think he'd see Jane again. Yeah. So it's supposedly setting up a love triangle, and then Malekith is like the villain that play. Like, it's not that bad of a setup.
No.
And the first,
don't do anything with it.
The first like half hour when it's setting that up, because I think like Odin's talking to him and he looks and Sif looks at him from a distance. I was like, okay, there's the hint of Sif and him have like this, and like the little mini conversation they have. There's a connection here. So when Jane interferes, that's gotta start something, but it doesn't do anything. And then Sif does, almost nothing the rest of the movie.
Which is
the
very
MCU.
commonplace for the side characters in a lot of these movies, especially these Thor ones. We're like, yeah, they're there, but what do? They do nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the Warriors 3 are cool. I don't know. I like having Thor with a bunch of buddies going off to battle. Like,
Yeah.
it's so cool. But you get glimpses of it. You never get the full thing. But when they help them escape, it's great to see them have different functions and parts and use their different expertise throughout their escape. But then the next movie happens, and we'll get there.
Yeah.
The next movie just kind of ignores this whole thing.
Yeah. A lot of the MCU starts to ignore these older movies going forward, picking and choosing what they want to keep canon, which you can do with a multiversal experience of, yeah, sure, we just diverted at that point.
Yeah. But that's what it felt like the movie was supposed to be.
Yeah.
And another thing, and we're all in agreement about this, Frigga is supposed to be a huge part of this movie. And I think people said, like, and if you don't do the Sif-Jane love triangle with Thor, you at least have, like, Jane getting to know Frigga, and Frigga becoming an essential part of something connected to the ether.
Yeah.
So when Malekith, in that scene when Frigga basically sacrifices herself trying to defend Jane, that should be powerful, and it's not. And poor Rene Russo is given nothing to do in anything except for that one scene, and then her little cameo scene in Endgame. That's all she gets to do.
Which the reason that's in there is because the writers of this movie felt exactly the same way. They're like, we wasted this amazing actress in this storyline we started to tell, and we just did nothing with it. So they wanted to put a little tag on it to, like, hey, like, we get it. We know where we messed up here. So let's go ahead and fix a little bit of that. But a little too late, in my opinion, because it just, yeah, there's no emotion there for Frigga dying. And also, like, talk about powerful.
I mean,
she's powerful. We don't get to see her be powerful. She is a very powerful witch. And, like, ancient being. Like, she should be able to hold herself a little bit against Malekith. But it's just done.
His Vulture
talking about,
Witch
like,
is so good.
Agatha Witch?
No, like way more powerful. Like,
Okay.
you take all the Asgard magic and power, and then you add witchcraft to it. It's like Agatha plus Doctor Strange combined. Like,
Okay.
Yeah,
So
super
she's-
powerful witch.
And then in these movies, she just, in the first movie, stands there. And in this movie, stands there and talks to Jane for a second.
Like, you even get a scene of her, like, kind of like teaching and stuff. It's like that she's teaching from her culture, probably.
It would have worked so much better somehow, because I feel like we get a lot of Loki's attachment to her throughout this movie, but we don't get any, like, of Thor's attachment, except to say that, oh, she's my mother.
Yeah.
Now I gotta be mad that she's dead.
And I get wanting to stress Loki's attachment to her, with her not being his birth mother. Like, you want to make sure that connection's there.
Well,
but yeah, like, you still want to make sure that connection's there with Thor too.
I do honestly think that is one of the more powerful moments of the movie when Loki dissipates his illusion and he's, you
see the claw marks on the
disheveled
thing,
and crap on the walls, and like, I like that part.
Hiddleston, like I said, through and through. There's a reason everybody latched onto him. He is so good in these movies.
There is good stuff in this movie. I don't promise you guys no. I swear there is good stuff.
Like I said, if you take the script that Marcus McFeely probably originally had and put it in the hands of Patty Jenkins, I think we get a far better movie. I think the right changes get made, the right decisions get ironed out. It might not be a perfect movie, but it's probably going to be better than what we get.
Yeah.
And I don't really blame the director we have for the movie.
That's not
Because
really.
I think he was a very last-minute throw-in to get it made.
Yeah.
But I think the direction of the movie is the problem overall.
I do also like what they do with Skarsgård.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah, Selvig.
Yeah, Selvig.
Yeah.
It's as cringy as it is. It's just on a second watch and on a third watch, it's like, okay, this is the levity that this needs, I suppose.
But I also kind of get it. Like, he's talking about these crazy high concept stuff, and anybody who's willing to listen is like, you're crazy. You're insane. So they shove him on meds to make him actually crazy.
Because the Mind Stone affected his mind.
Yeah, like, yeah, he's going a little crazy, but he's right. He's just telling you the things that he's seen. But the things he's seen is crazy.
There's a part that is funny, but it is horribly placed, and it's is your brother with you? Loki is dead.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
And then, I'm I'm so sorry, or whatever he did. Like,
Yeah,
he
sorry for
backtracks.
your loss.
And it's like, this will be funny later, not the scene after it happens.
Yeah.
Like, we literally just did this and we're already joking about it. That's the thing. Everything on Earth is dumb. The ending thing with the portal jumping, man, that's such a cool idea on
Yep.
paper. And then they don't do much with it. They flip through a couple of them for a second. It's just him punching Malekith.
Yeah.
Like
Malekith doesn't even really fight him.
Nope.
He just throws Gak at him.
Yep. I do like their massive destroyer that does kill his mom. That dude trudging around the place, just taking shots left and right and just not being fazed by it. Real cool. That's about it on that guy. Just a cool inclusion. Fun thing to watch Loki. Just watch him go through and just kill all the Asgardians.
It's also fun to watch. Oh no, what's his name? The Guardian guy,
the Guardian guy.
the gold guy. in
Oh,
the sphere.
Heimdall.
Heimdall. Yep. It is fun to watch him like run and then jump
And
on
take
this
down that
invisible ship.
Yeah.
That whole action sequence is good.
A lot of the
What's-
action in this
what's-
movie is good.
What's the actor's name?
Idris
Idris
Elba.
Elba.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch him do stuff.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, they build up this like even Heimdall can't see them come. They pop up out of nowhere. They go right to the center of it. They take down the shield. They smash that ship right into the castle there. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much that should work. And when we were watching that time, because this is the second time I've seen it. That first time I watched it with you, I think you verbally said, like, man, this would be so much better if there was weight to it.
Yeah.
But there's no weight to anything.
It's a setup movie. They just want to tell you about this stone.
It's the Iron Man 2 of Phase 2.
Yeah.
It's heavy lifting, but there's nothing underneath it.
Yep.
Yeah. They didn't put thought around it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw Infinity War, I had not done a rewatch of any of them up until you and I did that between Infinity War and Endgame. I didn't even remember where the Reality Stone came from. I was like, what is this? Oh, this is the ether? That doesn't make sense. That was a liquid type of stuff.
Yeah, even though I've rewatched this franchise so many times, I forget, like, how did it turn into a stone again? What happened? And then I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, he zapped it with lightning.
I don't
Interesting.
think that actually
I know,
is.
I know.
But I think that is what I choose to believe.
Because I don't think really tell you.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And now in the audience, you know who else got shafted? Poor Chris O'Dowd. This is in the Chris O'Dowd
I
era.
want to say, like, this is, like, all he did back then, though.
Yep,
Like,
I
he was
know.
always, like, side boyfriend. Same with Ty Burrell back in Hulk. Like, they just both did these roles so many times back then.
Another thing that works is like they're on they're the dark world, and she has cell phone signal because the portal's right there.
Yeah, it's a fun way to explain the convergence and, like, the boundaries of it and what is and isn't possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Perhaps
again,
for the
it's a
wormholes
nice,
that are popping up.
yeah, it's a nice little thing. It's like, man, there's little, like you said, little things that do work, and just every time they go back to Earth, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Darcy does nothing in these movies,
I
and
love
is
Darcy.
pointless.
I love a pointless character that's just there to make jokes. Only if they're played by Kat Dennings, though.
But they're not even funny jokes.
That's fine. I just like seeing her on screen. I
then-
find her funny and entertaining to watch, even though I hate her and her character and the character that she's with in this movie.
Oh yeah, her now
That's
like
what I really hate.
the whole
is-
joke is she's an intern who has an intern. That's funny for like one throwaway scene, not a whole movie if he is just with them.
It would have been funny if he was way more capable at the job than her. Like, if he was almost on Jane's level. Like, she grabbed a student who's highly intelligent, but she's ordering him around. But they didn't even try to play into that comedy aspect
Yeah.
of him. Just like, yeah, I don't know. It was just so nothing.
And then Thor's
But I love Darcy. No
Thor's
reason.
return to Earth is so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
He just walks around the corner. It's raining. I go, okay, they're doing the thing. If it's raining, lightning will strike and he'll show. No, he just walks from around the corner. I go, that's it? This big reunion. I do like that she slaps him.
Yeah.
Funny. It is.
Didn't
And
slap
she's
him
right.
twice?
Yeah.
Because I like how it's. You could have come back. You did come back. You came back for New York, and you didn't
Yeah,
say
how
anything.
dare you? Yeah.
That is pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Coming back from New York and not saying anything. I mean,
All you had
Well,
to
to
do
be
was
fair, after he was done in New York, he had a prisoner to escort off world.
I'm
Could've
sorry.
called her
I'm
on the
sorry. Natalie
phone.
Portman is too pretty.
Selvig was right there.
That's also true. Yeah, at least
She-
relay a message.
Yeah. And then, of course, this is Natalie Portman's last appearance
For a while.
until
The movie
technically Endgame, but it's a deleted scene from this movie. And then,
the movie that shall not be named in front of Nick.
yep, is where she makes her triumphant return. But I
To be
remember,
fair, I actually like her in that movie.
Oh yeah, she's the
And
best
she
part
is
of the
not my
movie.
problem of that movie. I've always loved Natalie Portman in these movies.
it's weird how in the first movie, she and Chris Hemsworth have a little bit of chemistry, like the whole science and magic conversation is actually like a nice little moment. There's like no sparks in this movie whatsoever
No,
between
not
them.
really.
Nothing. So you don't feel anything. So, and the other thing is like I can't remember if is it the mid credit? No, it's the after credit scene is where he just returns to Earth and they make out. And I was like, okay, the mid credit scene is important because it's
Do you
they
know-
give the Infinity Stone to the Collector. They say Infinity Stone for the first time.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so what's gonna be after credit? He shows up and they make out in slow motion for 30 seconds and that's it. It's like, why?
Riding on the wave of shawarma. Put a fun, pointless one in for the fans. This one was a fun, romantic one for all the Thor Jane lovers.
The Thane lovers.
The Jors.
The
Yeah,
Jors.
the Jors.
My favorite
Jor-
band.
Jorers.
Yeah, but I remember I was like, oh yeah, there is something after the credits, and I'm watching like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, oh, I forgot they did a couple of these where it's like this one's for you guys. This is a fun one of just them doing them.
And again, he's so much taller, and he has to like lean down.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know what it is that created the chemistry in the first one?
The Dutch angle.
Angles.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So Thor: The Dark World is bad.
Yeah. Another franchise that Eccleston decides to distance himself from. He hates everything he's in. Doctor Who, G.I. Joe, Thor. Stop doing these movies, Chris.
Hey, man, he was good in Doctor Who. I don't know why he hates it.
I don't know either. Honestly, he's good in this for the couple lines he's able to say.
It's the same problem
Literally, like,
years
3
later
lines.
with Apocalypse, right? You have Oscar Isaac, who's great, and you cover him in all that makeup. I've never seen Apocalypse. I've seen scenes from, which everyone tells me, not to go on the tangent of that, but that the I almost called him the Quickster.
Hey.
That's SpongeBob. What's his name?
Quicksilver.
Quicksilver is like the only good part of the movie.
Hey, have you seen Dark Phoenix?
Yes.
It's not as bad as that.
That is true. That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
You mean where Quicksilver's slow motion scene is in the first 5 minutes and he just duct tapes someone? Mm-hmm. Then he's out of the movie?
Or the scene where Jean Grey marionettes Professor X very comically up the stairs.
That's right. Or the big action scene of the summer is them crossing the street.
Literally one street in New York. The fact that they had to rewrite the entire third act of the movie because it was just Captain Marvel. They had to change who their villain was because it was just Captain Marvel.
Let's get...
We should do a side episode on Dark Phoenix or just one episode on the X-Men movies, please. I have so much to say about that franchise.
I like 2 of them.
I like all of them for various reasons outside of Dark Phoenix.
Even Last Stand.
I love.
Oh, that is a hot take.
No
if I
needle
ever
shall
heard
ever
one.
touch my skin again, Jake. One of the best lines ever out of Magneto's mouth comes out of Mystique loses her powers. You're nothing. He doesn't. You're not a mutant anymore. Leave. Go.
He robbed 7
Die.
banks.
I don't care.
At the same time.
Same time.
Then just instantly, you want to whatever? He goes, I'm in.
Jake, he's Juggernaut. He makes sure to let us know.
I'm the wrong guy to play hide and seek with. And what's the line they cut? Here's Juggy.
So good. I love that movie so much.
The way Elliot Page says dickhead is so funny. Oh, come here, dickhead. I go,
I know.
what?
And like honestly, his character is like one of the only ones that can stop Juggernaut. Like because he can phase through things, just drag him down. Like I love that movie so much. He brings the whole bridge. He bring it to bridge, Jake. He brought the whole bridge to the fight.
Who plays Juggernaut in The Last Stand?
Oh, I don't remember his name. I think he was in a wrestler, maybe.
He's in like Guy Ritchie movies. He has
Yeah.
to be. What? Who is? I'm looking this up because
Hey,
this
Richie,
is
we already
important.
talked about Iron Man
You
3.
get fun CG.
That's
Professor
Shane
X
Black.
That was terrible.
Guy Ritchie is the Mandarin.
That's Guy Pearce.
Oh.
Don't worry, I get them and Jude Law all jumbled together.
And eventually Jude Law's in the MCU.
Handsome white guys.
They look the same.
Oh yeah, Jude Law does make an appearance. Kinda.
Vinny Jones.
Vinny Jones, that's his name.
Yep. I'm looking. That's right. He was in Eurotrip. He's the soccer captain coach guy. Go, Vinny.
Alright, X'd out. It's next. It's not phased out, X'd out. Let's go.
Thor, the
I
Dark
forgot what we
World.
were on for a
Yeah.
second.
That's because we were talking about better movies. For how much I don't like The Last Stand, it is better than this.
It's funny, too, because this is one of the shorter Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Like, some of
You don't
these,
feel
like
it. I had to watch it twice, though.
like Iron Man 3, I thought was shorter, and it's like 130 minutes, and it kind of felt like it. Not in the worst way. This one, though, it feels so long. It's less than 2 hours, which not many of them are.
Yeah, Iron Man 3 just feels like it had a couple different ending points. This movie just
Yeah.
felt like it was never going to end.
I think I
Yeah,
paused it at
so-
one point. It's one of those like you pause like, we gotta be close. We have an hour left. What else do we have to do?
That has nothing compared to the story I have for the next movie.
This one I watched in about 5 days. Took me to get through it. And after my first watch through, watching it in segments and not remembering it, if I had to watch it again, just as boring in the second time, if not more so. Because all that Earth stuff, it's less funny when you just watch it the day before. Way less funny.
What are they eating at the end? It was like shreddies or shreddeds or shredders. I was
Some
trying to
UK
read that. I was
thing.
more
Yeah.
invested in what they're eating for breakfast in Britain than anything else in the
Only
whole
thing I really
movie.
liked in the America or the Earth stuff is when he hangs his hammer on the coat hanger. That's cute. Then he just calls it to him and it just breaks it off the wall because he doesn't care. That's cute. Thor's cute in this movie.
This is
Cute.
Yeah,
Let's just keep saying cute because
he's-
I know
he's
how
cute.
Jared loves it.
Yeah.
where we only have one more movie where he acts like Shakespearean Thor, and that's Ultron, in which
Even that,
his whole
though, I think is a little less.
yep, it's his whole storyline in that is he sees a bunch of people dead and then just goes into a shocky pool and goes, "Ah!"
Yeah, pretty much.
That's his
And then
whole
comes back at
story.
the end. I've had a vision.
Fat
Vision. And, yeah.
Oh, that's right. He just brings
Yeah. He brings his hammer, just comes in, and they're all deciding. He's like, you know what? Vision.
his yells are so funny.
I love Chris Hemsworth. As much as I hate the Thor movies, I love him. He's great.
You like Chris Hemsworth?
I do. I think he's funny even in other roles too, though. So, like Men in Black 3.
Yeah.
Said that he was in. No, International was the
International.
one he was in.
Yeah. Like
People hate that movie.
I like.
I think
him.
it's fine. I don't. We'll put it this way: the people who hate it are Men in Black fans. I don't care enough because I like the first one. I don't like the second, which is the
the second one's the
consensus.
only one I don't like.
And I know you really like the third
The
one,
third one is fantastic.
and a lot of people do like it.
Especially Josh Brolin playing young Tommy Lee Jones is so good in that movie.
That's good casting. Josh Brolin is just great.
I love his little renaissance he had, starting kind of at Men in Black. Little detour at Jonah Hex, but he got there.
I always mix up Jonah Hex and Max Payne. I don't know why.
Vastly different
I know.
properties, similar quality of film.
Well, it's kind of in the same vein of getting
I
Mark
didn't even know they
Wahlberg.
made a Max Payne movie.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, it's like when how
What a good game. What a
That's
bad
also a movie.
movie.
It's kind of how people mix up Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon. If you know them, they're completely different. It's just because they're two white guys that say certain slurs that are from Boston.
Yeah.
But when you
How
look
you
at
like
them,
these apples or them apples?
How do you like
That's
them
not even
apples?
Matt Damon. It is Matt
that is
Damon. That's
Matt
us.
Damon. Could you imagine Mark Wahlberg saying it? He'd add in some other three-letter words.
That is only as far as I've seen Good Will Hunting. So like 15 minutes.
Yeah. Have you've
One
seen
of my
the?
favorite movies of all time.
That's right. Have you seen The Departed?
Yes.
You seen The Departed?
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Gotcha. So spoilers for The Departed.
I like the original better, but
You like Infernal Affairs better?
do.
I do too.
It's so good.
I actually don't think...
I really like the cinematography in The Departed. But, yeah. Wahlberg also throws me for a loop in that one because I don't like Wahlberg, so.
That's his
You don't like water?
Oscar-nominated role.
Oh,
like
It's so
water?
funny.
Hate crime committer Mark Wahlberg? No, I do not like hate crime committer Mark
I thought
Wahlberg.
you said water.
Oh, I thought you were saying Wahlberg. No, Mark Wahlberg. Not a fan.
I was like, you drink so much water. How could you hate
That
it?
is true. I know I do love water. Wahlberg, not so much. Wahlburgers
Well,
on the fence.
But don't forget, if he was on the plane... Nope. We're gonna...
yeah, I could have stopped it.
Isn't he in like Transformers 4?
Yeah, the
Age of
one where his
Extinction.
underage daughter's dating an adult.
Yep.
And-
And he's an inventor. This could be very big
And
for
the
him.
guy carries around the law that allows him to do it in his
Okay.
wallet. That's a Michael Bay move.
That's right. They spend like 10 minutes explaining why it's okay.
Yep, they
they
explain the
film
whole
that?
Romeo and Juliet law to the audience to make sure that they're okay with that relationship.
Oh gosh, I'm glad I fell asleep in that movie.
And at least they kill T.J. Miller off in the first 20 minutes. So
A silver lining. Are there any silver linings in Thor: The Dark World that we haven't
the
mentioned?
beautiful clouds that they show in this movie when they're falling through the portals. Some of those portal scenes are real cool,
And they
So,
don't.
I
they
gotta
don't do
admit-
anything.
but they don't do anything.
I gotta admit, I think that this came out in 2013.
Yeah.
Sounds right, yeah.
Hey, that's when I graduated.
So I think 2013 is around when the DC convergence happened
Makes
in the
sense.
comics. I think I got the two mixed up.
Yeah. Honestly,
Convergence.
I think that might. When did.
It was like
I'm trying to think of when.
at the end of the New 52, so maybe not that
I'm trying to
early.
think when Ultimate Universe in Marvel happened, because that was also a convergence that triggered that. Just convergences all over.
Yeah, because convergence is the big
Well,
thing in Thor, right?
Yeah.
I mean, also the big joke in comics is that they reset the world every
Every few years, yeah.
whatever 5 or 6 years.
But yeah, they're actually leaning towards that now. They were talking about it in What If and the last Doctor Strange movie. I think they were talking about convergences.
Harmonic convergence, is that what they call it in this movie?
So once people really stop liking the MCU, they can just be like convergence and reset.
And Tony Stark is now played by Zac Efron.
Honestly,
Oh no!
I'll take it.
And he has to sing and dance.
I'd rather him as Captain America.
Oh, okay, I'd take that. No. The Rock. The Rock.
The Rock is Captain America.
Yeah.
How we go back in the day. We paint The Rock green. Hulk. We go Lou Ferrigno style with him.
Or just have, is Lou Ferrigno still alive?
It goes.
I don't think so.
Thought he was,
I don't know.
unless he passed more recently.
Okay, he's still alive.
Yeah, I thought he was.
Who died
If you
then?
can't tell, we don't have much to say about Thor: The
No, it was
Dark World.
Movie trash.
I'm thinking
Anthony
of
Hopkins wasn't even trying in this one. There's a couple scenes where he gave it a little bit, but
The
not really.
the most bit of character I found was when he's talking to Frigga and says, "Oh God, what did he say?
Hard to remember.
It's something about you've been with me through all these wars, and yet you still worry." And she says, "It's because I worry that you're still here." That was the most character I drew from this movie.
Yeah, they weren't concerned about that. They were concerned about teaching us about that stone,
They didn't even really teach us about the stone well.
punishing Loki for Avengers. Kinda.
Is this where Marvel starts to go off the rails a bit?
No, I would say this is where Marvel starts to shapen up a little bit, with this being an outlier.
Okay.
Because the next few movies, in my opinion, are pretty solid outside of our Avengers outing, but that has its own independent issues.
Nick and I are going to have some words next episode, I think.
I feel like we might, but we also could. It might be civil. It'll
Maybe
be civil.
we'll.
No, we're not
There-
at Civil War
I
yet.
don't care that much about the movie.
What if there's so much discourse that we slowly move into a one-mindedness about it, and we have our own harmonic convergence right here on the table? That sounds way more sexual than I meant it to
Well, I
be,
feel
but
like
here
have
we
to-
are.
We have to get away from the dark world to find out.
Here we go.
Wasn't it? Ooh, wait. I don't know if Nick can do it.
It won't be the same. The Dark World. Oh, sorry, I was looking up a quote real quick. It was like, The Rock is Captain America, and he pulls out a line from Southland Tales where he says, "I'm a pimp, and pimps don't commit." I knew that he says he's a pimp, but I couldn't remember the second half of it. And that's literally, I had like, what does he say? Oh, that's right. And he says it like 4 times.
The Rock has had the weirdest career.
I know. Have you ever
And
seen
also
Southland
the
Tales?
best career.
Kinda, yeah. Like,
I mean,
if I were
did
to
you
choose,
see-
if I were to choose someone's career to have, it'd
Did
be
you
his.
see Skyscraper? I mean, come on.
I-
That's.
Love Skyscraper. That movie is just Die Hard but dumb.
I know. And it's
Dumb
so.
Dumb hard.
I also love the TikTok that I saw where like The Rock hurt himself on the set of Jumanji: The Next Level, and they're pulling him around on a sled, and
Yes.
they pull him next to Kevin Hart. What the is this? Oh, don't you say that?
I think you brought this up in the series before, like a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
That's
it
just
has
how
been.
funny it is, because I'm like, I had a deja vu of,
The only
I feel
time
like
Jake
I've
is
been
making
here.
TikTok.
I feel like I've been in this spot.
It's the only one I've seen for a while.
You should watch Southland Tales, the ultimate director's cut or whatever it's called, the Renegade cut. Do you know what Southland Tales is?
Do I look like I know what Southland Tales is?
It's a decent
Actually, yes. No, it is not a decent movie. It is
movie. We
awful.
might have to watch it, Jared.
I love it.
Jared,
it's
I
awful.
am sooner to watch Leprechaun
So-
in the Hood.
So we're gonna talk about Southland Tales for a second here. So there's a guy. His name's Richard Kelly. You know who Richard Kelly is?
Do you think I know who Richard Kelly is?
Yeah, actually,
Probably.
He kind of does. He directed a little movie in 2001 called Donnie Darko.
Do you think I watched Donnie Darko?
See, you kind of back in the day, you kind of fit that crowd that
Yeah.
would like attach it to
You're
them.
just like those people that say, "Oh, you must like Buffy the Vampire Slayer." No, I have never watched Donnie Darko because I don't watch that shit.
It's great movie. The thing is, Richard Kelly made one movie that was so good they gave him free reign to do anything he wanted, and they gave him a budget. So what does he do? He makes a multimedia type movie where you have to like watch a bunch of webisodes and read like a custom made comic to know what's going on at the start of the movie, because the movie starts in like chapter 5.
It's right in the middle of the story.
Yeah, and it's Justin Timberlake in front of a machine gun with a southern drawl telling you the story as like a framing device. And then we go into this movie where Sean William Scott plays twins. One's a cop. The Rock is I can't remember, Boxer Santeros
Yeah.
or something. And is it Sarah Michelle
It's
Gellar?
been so long since I've seen it. But
And
yes,
it's-
she is in that movie.
And it's
I think.
supposed to be like Bush era, apocalyptic
Watch Walking Tall,
type.
then this.
And in
Fun
the middle,
juxtaposition.
in the middle of this movie that makes no sense, JT lip syncs The Killer's all these things that I've done. Just that I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier, with blood on his shirt and a bunch of like Vegas showgirls dancing around in like an arcade. It makes no sense. And then the movie just ends. Like not after that, but like at the end. It's wonderful. It's what, like 3.5 hours long, the Renegade cut.
Yeah,
It's
like,
terrible.
It's like, how did he
I
get
love
so
it.
many people?
I will not be
You
partaking.
it's so fun.
I don't have
It's
3.5
'cause
hours.
It's just pure chaos the whole time.
I would rather.
Chaos and confusion.
Oh, I remember sitting there going, I knew it wasn't going to be good. But I'm
Is
sitting
it
there.
Walking Tall that him and Sean William Scott are in together? Or is it the Rundown? The Rundown.
I
That
feel like
sounds
Sean
right.
William
I just
Scott
remember-
would not be in Walking Tall.
No, it was the Rundown that they were in together. I just remember thinking like, so this is where their characters ended up.
The funniest thing about Southland Tales 2 is because he tried to get a bunch of comedic actors
Yeah.
to play serious roles, and Sean William Scott actually turns in a decent double
He's a good
performance.
actor. The Goon is fantastic. He is great in The Goon.
Yeah, just most of his role is facial expressions, and he's actually nailing it. And I was like, I can't believe that this movie has one good thing, and it's this, this like, what genre would you say his comedies were? What kind of comedies? Because they're not stoner comedies.
No, they're frat bro.
Frat bro,
comedy.
yeah.
They're very National Lampoon.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And then here he is.
American Pie. It was all
Yeah.
American
Dude,
Pie.
Where's My Car is kind of a stoner comedy.
Yeah,
That
that
one
one I
is.
say that's definitely his most stoner comedy of all of his things.
American Pie and what was he? Was he in Road Trip?
I don't think so.
No, was it the Tom? Was he in one with Tom Green maybe?
That's Road Trip.
But it was a.
But
different
I don't.
one, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I don't remember.
I don't know. But
we-
then he was in like the Kevin Smith Cop one with.
Let's
Bruce
be
Willis.
cops.
No, the Bruce Willis
Cop
one.
Out.
Cop Out. Yeah, he was in that. There's another very slapsticky Stifler-esque character.
I feel like I'm missing a big one.
Are we still in the Dark World?
No, we're not.
What's the Dark World?
I don't remember us ever doing the outro.
There's a outro.
We didn't do an outro. Oh, the Duke! Don't forget his Dukes of Hazzard role. You remember that, right? The
Lethal
2005.
Weapon TV series.
Who was the other guy in that? Because I know it was Jessica Simpson for Daisy.
I can't. Oh, it's Johnny Knoxville.
That's right. Because I know they made a sequel with different actors.
Oh, shocking no one. He is in movie 43.
Yeah, everybody's in Movie 43. James Gunn directed this segment for Movie 43.
We got role models. We got
Cop
Role
Out,
models?
Balls Out.
Planet 51.
Mr. Woodcock.
Oh,
Ice Age,
that's
Dawn
the
of the
movie with,
Dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Horse.
he's in a after the second one on. He's Crash, one of the Possum Brothers.
Yeah.
He's in what looks to be every Ice
Old
Age.
school.
Mm-hmm.
Jay and Silent Bob you mentioned already,
Bulletproof
right?
Monk.
Strike
But I
Back.
forgot he was in Strike Back, yeah.
Evolution.
Bulletproof Monk's kind of a fun movie.
Evolution is hilarious. It's stupid.
Wait, is that the one with Duchovny?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
It's stupid.
one. It really
I
is
love
stupid.
it.
Final Destination you
I
mentioned.
feel like
right?
Evolution should be talked about kind of the way that, not Starship Troopers, but the Star Trek parody with Tim Allen.
Galaxy Quest.
I feel like it should be talked about in
Except
similar vein.
Galaxy Quest is a much better movie.
Yeah, but still, nobody talks about Evolution, and that movie is very fun and very weird.
He is in Road Trip.
Okay, he is. Okay.
So I think that's the
I
Tom
was
Green. He's
thinking it was a
on the
different one.
poster. Tom Green's in the middle going like
okay,
this.
I was thinking it was a different Tom Green movie.
Oh yeah, I guess we have to.
That's what I was saying. We didn't do the outro to the episode.
No, we're still talking.
We're still in the Dark World.
Oh
What are you
yeah.
talking about? The Dark World. We brought some light to the Dark World. I could swear when I originally saw it in theaters, it was black and white, guys. I swear it was black and white and not stupid green.
I think Jake is literally thinking about Love and Thunder, but we'll see.
I mean,
You think I'm
the
like
movie that must not be
intentionally-
mentioned.
Intentionally Mandelaing myself.
Yeah, you're putting the one thing you liked about that movie into a different movie.
Funny enough, because Idris Elba played Mandela in a movie the same year as this.
Wild.
Yeah, Long Walk to Freedom. That's all I got to say about Thor: The Dark
Yeah,
World.
same.
It's
All right.
literally just a vehicle to get to the next movie. That has nothing to do with it.
I'll reuse Kevin Smith's line. I felt Thor after watching this movie.
Hey!
Hey. He really does love Kevin Smith, doesn't he?
I can
He
tell you his
does.
whole life story if you want.
Quick, while we do this episode, hurry.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that would be Thorable.
You don't need to know about Ernie Hudson or Walt or any of the boys or Red Bank, New Jersey. Or his dad working for the police office his entire life, or them going to Disneyland and stealing things from the gift shop. I don't know why I know about his family trips, but I do. Jake, I do.
Everybody's got to have a hobby. Oh. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit out of it, mostly because we've been talking about Thor: The Dark World. So
Trying hard not to.
next week we are covering one of what people call the crown jewels of the MCU crown. Would you still agree with that? We don't know. Let's find out next week. But until then, where can they find us?
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the funny TikTok, and X.
Formerly known as Twitter.
And you can listen to us on Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and hey, if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our bell. Make sure you rate us and like us on all those apps, and check out our groovy website.
All right, and until then, you can go back and catch some of our other episodes. We're just gonna continue getting a little bit more phased out going through these. So, I never said the title of next week's episode.
Yeah. What is it?
It is Captain America: The Winter Soldier, or the Winter Falcon, as it ends up being. Anyway, have a great one.
whole reason I was asking if we were out of the Dark World. I had to pee again.
Why don't they have Buzz Lightyear on Disney Plus? I love Dickie.
Speaking of Dutch angles, I think there's a couple in the movie Dutch.
I am a thoroughbred Dutchman.
I think Jake's dying.
God dang.
I'll never forget my whole story with you.
Every time.
I've told you the one with Nick from years ago. He's coughing, so I say, "Need a Halls?" He goes, what did you say? No, I don't like mint. It's lemon. It's too much sugar. It's sugar-free. And you went, I don't want one. And I'm thinking you could have just said that.